Hey everyone, so today we're working from home, obviously, right here in Washington Township. So what I wanted to do was I listened to Brian Buffini's podcast the other day, and every year he comes up with his what he calls bold predictions, which is essentially the forecast for the market for next year. So I kind of summarized that for you, and I'm going to give you the notes leading forward to what we can expect going into 2024. So all the clickbait that we see on the headlines, the market's crashing, rates are at their highest in decades, this, that, the other thing, exactly what it is. It's clickbait. Rates have actually fallen since all that stuff has happened. The market is not crashing. The market is very stable and very strong. So let's jump into some things. If we go back to what was clickbait many years ago before the internet, roughly 40 years ago, interest rates, there was headlines of people saying people don't buy a home, rates are too high, this, that, the other thing. They were 16 and 17% then, and people were saying you'll never see 12% again. Well, now we're at 6.8, so it always comes back down if history repeats itself. There's still a huge buyer demand. There's a pent-up desire for sellers as well. Rents have never been at a higher level, although they have leveled off in recent months, but this is also pushing buyer demand even further because of the exorbitant rental amounts. 72 million millennials, the largest group of any buyers coming into the market. These represent roughly 35 years old is the first time buyer range. That's up a couple of years now just because of the increase in housing prices. So now let's jump into Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And he has a lot of great stuff to tell us as well. There's expected to be 4 million sales this year, which is actually going to be probably the lowest level since 1993. Prices are still at record levels. 1/3 of homes are still seeing multiple offers, especially on the lower end homes. The higher end, they are seeing some concessions as far as pricing is concerned. The GDP is better than 5% growth, but stimulus money has gone and business spending is basically at zero because of rates, and they actually have more inventory than they've ever had before. So we'll have to keep an eye on where that's going to trend to. Back to interest rates. As of today, we're looking at, like I said, about 6.8%. We hit a high of 8%. The trend is that these are going to keep going down as we get into 2024 and through 2024, especially with an election looming. The Fed is expected to cut the rates at least 3 to 4 times next year. Remember, 2 to 3% interest rate during COVID was an artificial rate. It was trying to prop everything up and keep things going. That rate is not here to stay. It's not coming back. A 5%, 6% interest rate is going to be a healthy market. We're expecting to see about 6.5 by spring, and by year's end, roughly 5.75. Newer builds, which is new construction, is better than in 2023 than it was in 2022. Existing 23 homes, about half the amount that we saw in 2022 because of the rate hike. Now, things that are going to affect the market, no matter what the interest rate is, whether it's 3% or 10%, life-changing events. Here's some stats for you. 7 million babies are going to be born, 3 million marriages, 1.5 million divorces, 7 million people are going to be turning 65, looking to trade their larger home to a smaller home, a vacation home, something along that line. There's going to be 50 million job switches, which could be anything from remote work, where you might have had to commute to the office, but now you can work from home, so you're going to go buy that house at the beach instead. Travel, etc. These are all pent-up sellers that we're going to see. Life happens, so this will add inventory, like I said, no matter what. Here's a good stat to figure out as well. Builders have unlocked the market. And what I mean by that, builders are buying down the rate, okay? They figured that the sweet spot in the market right now is roughly 6% interest rate. They cannot build homes fast enough because of this buy down that they're offering to their buyers. So look out for that. That's going to be a trend. We know it's a fact that this is happening. Now, let's jump into this lawsuit that a lot of you have heard about. The media is loving this, obviously. They're saying that there's collusion and all this. Well, there's a couple things that they're not explaining to you. Every realtor, myself, my entire office, any other office, we are all in competition with each other. So therefore, how do we have collusion? That's a competitive market. Additionally, there's 1.5 million realtors all running their business model how they see fit. Referral, door knocking, bank-owned properties, postcards, Facebook ads, Zillow, whatever you want to call it. So everybody's running their business model how they see fit and how they want to run things. Now, back to the consumer. The consumer has options. You can be a for sale by owner. You can be an iBuyer. You can be with a discount broker. You can be with a full service broker. So there's 4 to 5 different options, and that's just right out of the gate off the top of my head. Now, additionally, the fact is that 90% of consumers want to work with someone they know, like, and trust. Now that's where I come in, because that's exactly how much business I do out of my referral database. 90% of my business comes from my database, which exactly goes back to Lauren Shun's point of people want to work with someone they know, like, and trust. 90% of my business comes from either people I know, who I've worked with, who I've helped with. Now I'm selling their kids' homes. If, God forbid, someone's passed away, I'm selling the family's estate, things like that, which is a tremendous compliment for us. Now let's get into where the market is going to be heading for 2024 here. It's expected to be a tight first quarter. Things are going to start to loosen up come the second quarter. Rates are going to keep pulling back in the third and fourth quarter, and that's when things are going to pretty much explode through the third and fourth quarter of next year. You can cut it and I'll do the next video for you. So this one you can do like